What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is an exciting day. I've got a new project car to add to my collection. This is the Flyhal FC610. It says that it's a 1/10 scale, but it's actually a 1/12 scale. So let's dive right in. Okay, so here's the truck. This is the Flyhal FC610. It's a brushed 1/12 scale. So why have I bought this? Well, if you've seen any of Derby City's or Discipline RC's videos, then you'll already know why. These cars are awesome. This car is essentially a rebranded haiboxing 2996. This one is a brushed version. These cars have a centre diff. Now, you don't find that in a lot of cars, especially anything at this kind of price point. I got this car for £67 delivered on Banggood. I think they were on offer for £77 and I had some sort of coupon as well, so 67 quid. That's an absolute bargain. Plan for this car is to brushless convert it. It's got a centre diff, so that means that we can add more power and it's going to be able to take that extra power without a slipper clutch or a centre diff. Generally end up stripping out gears. So we know that this car is a good candidate for adding more power, brushless converting. These have oil-filled shocks, chunky drive shafts, metal gears throughout, and being haiboxing, the plastics are flexible, so they're pretty tough cars. My plan for this is basically to use it as a sort of going away travel car, something that when I'm going on holiday, it's not going to take up too much space in the boot of my car that's going to be full of luggage. My other cars are 1/10 scale or bigger, and my Armour Vortex is much larger than this car. So I feel like this is going to be quite a good size to take on holiday. In this size category, there aren't too many cars. There's this one, there's the haiboxing sort of equivalent. They did, before this model, there was the 2995 from haiboxing, and then they did the 2996A, which was a brushless version with the same body style as this one. And then they did the 2997A, which was a stadium truck. So those are all sort of 1/12 scale cars. From other brands, there's the Rolalo Omni Terminator, which from what I've seen is a great little car. And there's also the HPI Savage XS, that's a 1/12 scale. Those look pretty cool. And then more recently, there's been the Traxxas Minimax. Now, this car is quite a lot cheaper than all of those cars. So let's see if we can make it anywhere near as good. Okay, so underneath the body shell, you get a 550 size brush motor, a 1/10 sized servo, which is nice for this size car. You get 2-in-1 ESC receiver, which is rated for 2S. I think you can run these on 3S, but brushed motors don't really like 3S. They tend to get too hot, and that usually destroys them. This car has got quite a small, weird sort of chassis. It's got a really small battery tray. There's a lot of sort of dead space where they could have essentially made this chassis a bit longer. So you get this tiny little battery tray, which can make putting batteries in a bit of a pain. You're limited with your battery size there. Some people do cut out the divider that's here and move the ESC onto the top brace, and then you can run a larger battery all the way across. But yeah, I've got to watch because the steering linkage does run across this side. You get oil-filled shocks with threaded collars. These are plastic bodied shocks, but they are oil-filled. On the front there, you've got CVDs, quite chunky drive shafts, and on the rear, it is dog bones and cups. So this car, as you can see here, does have quite a low wide stance. Doesn't really have as much travel as I would like. So I think we'll be changing the shocks out for something a little bit longer to give it a bit more travel, which will be better for doing jumps. The wheels, they're not really my cup of tea, if I'm honest. You've got sort of off-road style tyres, but they've got a really low profile, which in my experience, when you start doing jumps, these are probably going to end up cracking the rims. And to be honest, I don't really like, it's just not my bag. That's looks like a road wheel with an off-road tyre on it. But that's just my opinion. So for the wheels and tyres, I've decided to go with these, which are from the Haiboxing Hyper TT. These are a nice looking wheel. I think these look much better. I like the sizing as well, and the tyres feel really nice foams in there. This is the part number. So it comes as a set of 4. They're quite reasonably priced as well. And then the next thing I want to address is the ride height on the car. Doesn't have as much travel as I would like. I am going to be doing jumps with this car, so I want a bit more travel, and the suspension as it comes is really quite soft, and it doesn't have a whole lot of damping. So to address that, I'm going to be fitting some ZD Racing shocks. These are the shocks I'm going to be using. These are the ZD Racing DBX10 shocks. They're around about 10mm longer, so we'll gain some extra ride height, and I've put in some thicker fluid into these shocks. I'll put links in the description to both the wheels and tyres and these shocks. Let's get these fitted. Okay, so we've got the shock absorbers on. Next up, electronics. So I've decided to go with 3650 brushless motor, 2300 kV from Racer Star. And yes, we are going to run this on 4S. This is the MJX 10208 4S ESC. I chose this because of its small size. 100 amps will be plenty for this size car. So we've got a 2300 kV motor, 4S ESC. These are dirt cheap as well. I think I paid £25 for this ESC. You've got Bluetooth programming as well via your phone on an app. Pretty good. So we'll get this stuff fitted. For the battery, I've already gone ahead and sorted out my battery situation. We're going to run a CNHL 4S pack, 2000 milliamp, and it's almost perfect for this battery tray. I could have done what some other people have done and ground out the divider that's here to run a longer battery. But to be honest, I'd already got these batteries, and I didn't really want to buy batteries specifically for this car. So this battery, I've got a couple of these, and like I say, it's pretty much a perfect snug fit. I did go ahead and put in some new holes just to run the Velcro strap This is the original strap that comes with the car. It normally goes across that way. So yeah, go and get these electronics fitted. I'll catch you in a sec. Now for mounting the ESC, my plan is to mount the ESC on the top of the deck there. And again, one of the reasons I chose this ESC, it's got some mounting holes there on the bottom. So I'm hoping I can literally just screw this down onto that top brace and that'll be nice and solid then. I am planning to do jumps and stuff with this car, so fixing down the ESC securely was one of my sort of priorities as well. Tape can fail. I'd rather that it was bolted down. So yeah, let's get this stuff fitted. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, to fit that battery, I did have to grind out, there's some reinforcing similar to what you can see here. I did have to grind out a little bit here so that the battery could fit. Check it out guys, we've got everything installed. I did go ahead and fit a 17 tooth pinion gear. The motor mount on these comes with a reversible mount that you can fit either a 14 or a 16. Now, I'd seen from Discipline RC's video that when you use the 16 size that the mesh is a bit too loose. So I fitted a 17 tooth pinion, which was a little bit snug, a little bit tight, but it does bed in quite nicely. So that's going to work well. Really clean install, really happy with how it came out. As I said, the ESC, I did manage to screw that down into the top deck, so that's nice and solid. Receiver is tucked away down here. I've done my best to tidy up the wiring to keep it looking neat. And the power switch we've got here, I've put it there so that you can still access the power switch when the body is on. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that came out. Nice, clean, almost factory looking install. So all we've got left to do is to drive it. Something's broke. I broke my steering. So the standard body shell that came with this car didn't last very long. On the first run out, it ended up splitting and cracking quite badly. Didn't really like the colour scheme on that body shell anyway. It looked a bit toyish to me. So I've fitted a body shell from a Savage XS. I even managed to transfer the roof skids from the original shell onto this body. I was quite lucky really that that fitted, and I've got a little skid plate on the back there as well to help protect the body. I've fitted some tethers for the body clips and a couple of stickers on there. Came out pretty well. Okay, so you join me out with the Flyhal FC610. Now with the Savage XS body shell and the MJX 10208 wheels and tyres. Changed to these tyres from the last set because these are a bit larger, giving it more of a monster truck kind of feel, and I think it will help with doing jumps and wheelies. Should be able to do flips hopefully. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to protect this body shell. I'm hoping that it'll last a bit longer than the last one. So we've got the roof skids on there and the skid on the back section for when I do eventually roll it over. And one of the things I've noticed that tends to damage bodies is when you land on the roof, all that sort of force going down on the body can cause it to split here or here, and the fix to that is to basically try and support the body. So I've got in some little side guards there, and also what I did was added a carbon fibre strip across the top there, and then mounted this platform with stiff foam on the top, and basically that foam there touches the roof of the body, and that essentially stops. That will essentially stop the body being able to flex down. Can't really see, but that removes all the flex then in the body, and these guards on the side help keep it tucked in away from the tyres. So we're going to try and do a speed test on 4S. I've got my GPS device mounted in the car there. So I'm going to give it a run and see what it'll do. Not sure what to expect. Hopefully 40 mile an hour plus. But honestly, in a car this sort of size, anything above 35 is pretty rapid. Let's see what happens. Yeah, these tyres are ballooning up. It doesn't feel very stable at all. Cannot get full throttle. Yeah, I can't get full throttle. We'll see what we've got anyway. .99 kilometers, so call it 66. I think the frame rate is making this appear a little bit weird on the camera, but it is reading 65.99 kilometers an hour. straight through the post. It's got plenty enough speed for its size. It's pretty hard to drive it, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it was good on the those white wheels, the sort of pin tyres that I tried initially. I think those are good for more of a sort of low slung, speeding around kind of setup. But I've been enjoying doing jumps and flips lately, so I decided to put these larger tyres on. I do think I need to add a wheelie bar on this one. A little backflip there. That was a big nosedive then. Oh, looks like it's in one piece. As you can see, I did add some little skid plates on the front and back. I know from sort of past experiences with the smaller HBX cars, your hinge pin blocks the plastic there and they tend to get worn down, and then you start popping the pins out. So those should help it last a bit longer. I do plan to put a full brace, get a steel brace I think, just to try and stiffen it up. I'm a little bit wary of snapping the chassis in half at the front there, so I think I'll put a full brace on in future. But yeah, like I said at the beginning, the point of this car is to have something small enough to basically take on holiday, that's still going to be capable off-road, but I can still have some good fun with. Front flip. Not that time.
There's some serious off-roading down there then.
Perfect.
Swing and a miss.
Okay, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the build, and drop us a like if you enjoyed the video. See you next time.